today, which is Eric Worre's Go Pro. And this is super relevant, kind of what we're talking about, because in the end, to have the most impact, to have the most positive social impact, we really do need to make a decision to treat what we're doing in a more professional way, right? Like what is the difference between an amateur and a professional is that the professionals get paid for it. I really know whether it's sports or whatever else you're doing, right? Once you go pro, it's because now you're to that point where you're going to make money at it, right? And I've always loved that analogy. If you're just doing it as an amateur, you're doing it because you like it and you love it maybe, and you're passionate about it, and it's a hobby that you love to do. But once you go pro, it's because now you're doing it because there's economics. There is really some financial incentive, and that's what going pro is all about. So Eric Worre in his book Go Pro teaches 7 steps to become a network marketing professional. So we're going to just kind of summarize those. Obviously, the book is a lot more, full of examples and teachings and stuff. And I highly recommend that you go get it. I've seen where you can actually go download it for free online if you want to buy a copy. I think they're really cheap right now. You can get it for less than $5 to get a physical copy, and it's worth having, right? It's worth having and sharing with your teams. So the idea is this: in a world where the landscape of work is shifting, right? Where people are opting for freedom over that conventional 9 to 5, network marketing stands out as an attractive option. Right? A lot of, especially younger generation now, they call it the gig economy. A lot of people are doing that now, where they're doing side jobs. They're doing they're driving Uber or Lyft, or they're doing things online. Just they're selling things on Etsy that they designed. Right, all kinds of ways to make side money, or having a side gig economy. And so Eric Worre breaks this down, right, into 7 manageable steps that can mean the difference between merely dabbling in the field and truly excelling at it. Okay, so buckle up, because we're going to dive into these key elements in this influential guide, and reveal how we can all become professionals at what we're doing. So the very first thing is make that decision. Okay, Stephen Pressfield said, there's no mystery to turning pro. It's a decision brought about by an act of will. That's it. We make up our minds to view ourselves as pros, and then we just do it. It's as simple as that, right? So we just have to make that commitment. Okay. Success will not just fall into our lap. We've got to want it, and we've got to act on it. So we've got to decide our purpose, right? What do we hope to achieve in this field? And we're going to write it down, right? Then we're going to visualize it. We're going to visualize that success. We're going to picture where we want to be in the future. What does that look like for us? Okay. And Eric Worre, of course, emphasizes that without this initial decision, the rest of the steps just aren't going to be as good. They're not going to hold weight. They're not going to really work for us because we haven't decided, right? So this is the key thing: is we have to make a decision. We have to go, you know what? Yeah, there's a lot of criticism out there. There's a lot of people that call it a pyramid scheme, or whatever, a scam, and we just have to ignore that, right? We just have to say, you know what? There's nothing that's perfect out there, and as he likes to say, it's not perfect. It's just better. Okay, and that is the key. It's just a better way to do things, and it doesn't mean you're not going to have ups and downs. It doesn't mean you're going to have. It doesn't mean you're going to be rich overnight, right? It does mean though that it's going to give you the best chance of being successful, when we know that more than 90% of startups end up failing, right? In traditional business, and all the capital and all the time and effort that goes into them and everything to make a traditional business work. Whereas something like this, it's lower risk, lower barrier to entry, lots easier for people to go to be part of, and the potential is through the roof, right? We know that this profession is one of the top ways that people become millionaires, right? Besides real estate, right? Which is also another topic that's definitely not perfect. This is one of the best ways to do it. And so it's the best way to help the masses, is what we're saying, right? So let's decide to be a professional, and then we can move on to step number two, which is now committing to our education, right? Knowledge is power. So it's also a major stepping stone towards becoming a network marketing pro. The world of network marketing is ever evolving, and staying informed is crucial. And it's true, any profession, right? If you're a computer technician or you're a doctor or a nurse or whatever you do, you've got to stay up to speed, right? You've got to, read the latest journals. You've got to recertify and the different things that are going on. You can't trust stuff that's even 10, 20 years old anymore, because the world continues to move on and adapt, and there's new technologies and new things, and so you've got to stay relevant. So it's the same in what we do, right? We've got to invest in training. We got to sign up for workshops. We got to be part of webinars and conferences. We got to read the books and the articles. We got to keep our brain fed with all the latest trends and tips, right? We've got to learn from the right people. We've got to find who the successful figures are in the industry and follow the strategies that they're using and not using, and stuff that might have worked 10, 15 years ago doesn't work today, right? And we've got to find out what is actually working now, because the more we learn, the more confident we'll be when we share these things with our potential clients or team members. So let's commit to our education. We decide we're going to go pro. It also means deciding that we're going to jump on these Zooms, right? We're going to stay relevant. We're going to read the books. We're going to do all the things we need to stay on top of it. Then we're going to get the right mindset. So step number three that Eric talks about is is this whole mindset, our attitude, right? Attitude becoming behavior, becoming action and success. It's the beating heart behind anything. And we've got to really understand the importance of really believing in this and believing in yourself, okay? Because you got to stay positive. We all know we're going to face rejection, lots of it. Okay, so we got to be able to shake it off. We've got to have resilience, right? Every no is just one step or two, a step closer to a yes. We've got to cultivate that strong work ethic, right? There's no substitute for hard work. We just have to show up consistently, and we can never underestimate the power of a strong mindset, because it can turn all the setbacks into setups for comebacks. And I think we've all been through enough of companies that disappointed us probably in the past to know we just got to get back up and keep going, right? That's what makes a champion. That's one of my favorite themes with the Rocky movies, was that Rocky, what made him a champion, it wasn't always that he was bigger or stronger or whatever. It's just that he kept taking those punches and kept going. He just kept getting back up. He never gave up. And I think that's really the key. Somebody that is a champion, somebody that's going to be a professional and successful, is somebody that will not give up, right? The only way you actually become a failure is when you quit. That's it, right? If you keep going, you're never a failure. All you've done is you've just had a learning experience, maybe, right? You learn what not to do in the future, but you're never a failure until you actually quit.
And okay. Eric was a great example of that.
Yeah.
That he never gave up.
There you go. Exactly. Okay. The fourth one that he talks about is now connecting with people, right? At its core, that's what network marketing is all about. It's a people business. It really is. It's relationships, right? That's why we like to call it relationship marketing sometimes. So while it sounds kind of straightforward, right? Connecting is often where people struggle. And so learning how to build rapport is a key component to all of this, because we're not trying to sell stuff, right? We're not just sales. That's not what this is all about. It's about forming those genuine relationships, finding that common ground with the prospects, and really caring, right? Caring about people and wanting to truly find a solution for them, whether it's a health solution or a financial solution or whatever it is. That's the goal, right? Is actually caring about them. And then, of course, we want to be able to use the technologies, right? We want to use social media platforms, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, whatever it is, whatever your favorite platform is, right? A lot of people now like TikTok. And probably be other ones in the future. Who knows? But the idea is we got to be well connected, right? I've heard the phrase also, the money is in the list, right? And back in the day, decades ago, before social media, what was it? You had your Rolodex, right? You had a Rolodex that you're well connected. If you had a whole bunch of names on your Rolodex before you had it on your phone. So that's the idea is you want to be well connected. You want to have lots of friends, lots of relationships because the money is in the list. And the more people that you can communicate with and talk to and influence, the more success you're going to have. And then, of course, attending the events, right? Because that's where you make those connections. That's where you can really see how things are working. So the more people that you meet, the more opportunities can arise. And in the end, it's just plain fun, right? The going to the different events is it can be something where you have a good time, right? Whether there's entertainment or whatever it is, or just getting to travel to a new city and seeing some new sights and stuff. That's what it's the glue, right? It's the glue, the different events, whether they're small events where you get together as a team and just do a little potluck dinner, or going to the big events. That's where the memories are made, and that's what makes it fun. So,
And for those who are too young to remember Rolodex,
there you go. Vaughn's got a Rolodex. Look at that.
There's the name right on the front, Rolodex.
That's cool. All right. So yeah.
That's funny. I was Rolodex was brought up yesterday talking in a business phone call.
Okay, cool.
Very
Yep.
good.
So yep, having a Rolodex or having it in your phone doesn't matter. Having an email list, right? Let's do it. But then, of course, the other important thing about that is then being authentic, okay? Because you don't want to come across as just that, the salesperson. All you care about is getting the sale and making the money. We want to be authentic. We want to make sure that we're really truly being a friend, right? And because people can smell that a mile away, right? They know when you're fake. They know when it's all about you. So just be yourself, be kind, be caring, and then truly believe that whatever it is you're sharing, right, can be a solution and an opportunity for the people you're talking to. All right, then we are going to now present the offer. Okay, so we've decided to go pro. We educated ourselves. We got the confidence, right? We're connecting with people. We now have an audience. So now it's time to actually present. Okay, so once we have built these connections, we're going to try and navigate the best way to make sure that people are going to be receptive, right? So the first thing is, of course, you want to know your product inside and out. You really do. You need to know the product, being a product of the product, as we like to say. What benefits it has, and then your own personal testimonial of how that product has worked for you or somebody in your family or somebody right? With specifics, because people love to hear stories, right? What resonates with people is the true stories that you can share. You can talk all the science that you want, or you can talk all the technology you want, but it doesn't really resonate until you can tell the story of how the product actually benefits somebody. So we're going to craft that pitch, right? We're going to tailor it, to each individual. What works for one may not work for another, and of course, share your own personal journey. Okay, authentic stories really do resonate with people, making your pitch more relatable. And of course, confidence is the key. Okay, believing in what you're offering, it will make others believe it too. Okay, that is the key thing. Then we're going to follow up and close the deal, right? We probably all of us on this call probably know this, that 92% of sales actually, or sales pros will give up after the fourth call, but 80% of the prospects actually say no 4 times. So you know what? You never want to give up. You don't want to hound on people. You don't want to be, like, oh, why not? Why not? Why not? Right. But you definitely want to keep them in your Rolodex or on your phone and set a calendar appointment to follow up right? You can give them, 30 days, 60 days, whatever it is, but definitely follow up, because usually when somebody says no, it just means not right now, right? That's usually what they're saying. And so never give up. Don't think like, oh, I'm just knocking on doors and trying to get a sale, and if I don't sell, then I'm never going back, right? No, we've got to be consistent, be persistent, right? Not nagging, not rude, but definitely keep going. So if we can be persistent but not pushy, right? it you're going to increase your chances of getting somebody interested the more you stay in touch. And the other reason is just simply because the more you stay in touch, the person's going to be like, wow, this must be really good if they continue to bring it up, right? And then, of course, we're going to set the timelines. So just let them know, right? Hey, you know what? I'm going to reach out in 3 months. I'm going to reach out in 6 months again, right? If it's not a good time for you right now, maybe you're involved in something else, that's fine. But would you mind if I reached out again in a few months and just to see where you're at, right? Most people will say yes to that. Most people will be like, okay, yeah, that's fine, because we all know that 6 months could be a long time and a lot can happen in 6 months. So, and then of course, the other biggest thing is asking for the sale. Don't hesitate. Don't be wishy-washy about it, right? If they're interested, go for it. Hey, do you want to sign up? Do you want to try it out? Maybe you can, just try it for 30 days or whatever, see if you like it. Because the aim really isn't to make the sale, it's about building a long term relationship that's going to foster loyalty and repeat business. So if you're rude or pushy or any of that, then the person's never going to want to talk to you again. But if you just maintain that relationship and just be, kind and caring about it and understanding if it's not good timing, then great, right? You maintain that relationship, and at some point in the future, they'll likely say yes, just because you were actually there for them, and they'll be curious and want to know why. And then finally, the last thing is to teach others to do the same, right? This is the whole duplication thing. That is the key to getting to the masses, of course. Once you've found that success, the next step is to pay it forward. So Eric, of course, champions the idea of mentorship within the network marketing community. He's an advocate of sharing your knowledge, whether it's through training sessions, webinars, one-on-one coaching, helping others to grow, fostering a supportive environment, creating that culture of learning and empowerment with you and your team, celebrating successes, right? Doing recognition, whether big or small, boosting that morale, keeping everybody motivated. And because by teaching others, you're not only helping them, but you're also reinforcing your own knowledge and skills. And that is a key thing. So in conclusion, you don't have to be better than everybody else. You just have to be better than you ever thought you could be. Okay. So by going pro, that's what we're doing, right? Those 7 steps to becoming a network marketing professional means that if you're serious about breaking into this industry, if you really, really, truly want to do it and have that life-changing income and the satisfaction of blessing other people's lives and having a positive social impact, then it just requires that dedication, the right mindset, and the willingness to learn. So go ahead, take the plunge, right? The world of network marketing is filled with opportunities for those brave enough to seize them. Whether you're looking to supplement your income or you're seeking a full-time business venture, Eric Worre's guide will give you a solid foundation. So let's get out there, let's network with people, and most importantly, let's have fun on the journey. So are you guys ready to go pro? Let's do it. So with that, thanks for jumping on today. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, go get Eric's book. It's great. Short little book. It's not very long, right? It won't take you very long. Most people can read through it in a day or two. Pretty simple, but very, very profound, and it will help you to get where you want to go. So with that, we'll call it a Saturday. Thanks so much. And we'll plan on being back in 2 weeks from today with our next training. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Goodbye.
Back soon.